You ready to do it again?
Here we go.
Oh, man. So the last time.
Wild.
Dr. VC cracks me up.
Yeah.
The last time we connected, my mind was racing, like on the drive home.
Uh-huh.
And I started thinking about, like, even how we both got to this point was through, our relationship.
Exactly.
Cultivating a relationship through living and leading with integrity, open, transparent communication, active listening, vulnerability. Like, we're just very vulnerable with each other.
Yes.
Which brought us, I started thinking, okay, maybe the next time I connect with Dr. VZ, we should talk about a relationship a little bit.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go. Relationships, right?
Yeah.
So I have a question that pops up for me. Who would you say is the most important relationship currently? Because I always focus on the present in your life currently.
The most important relationship currently in my life is one person. And that is my husband.
Oh, okay. You might share a story of
about my husband.
Yeah, and how you guys met. Let the audience a little bit.
Well, my husband is Reverend Kevin Paul VC, and I met him in Chicago. It's kind of a sad, bittersweet type of thing, but I met him. My friend, her son was ill at the hospital, and she asked me to come. Now, mind you, I've been battling breast cancer, and this is my first round of breast cancer in Chicago. But, I was still a little apprehensive because I had a wig on and all that kind of stuff, but still kind of apprehensive. But I went there because my friend, if you have friends that are true friends, you
got to show up.
You got to show up when they call. And
Absolutely.
So I showed up to the hospital. Spent some time with her. Her son was not doing well, and then her other son was out of state, and we needed to get him home very quickly. So she was busy doing some other things, and I said, "I'll take care of this for you. You just go and relax, and I'll take care of this." So I did, and I got to talk to her son, and I told him, your brother's in the hospital, and I just want you to be here with your mom. Can we get you here? And he said, "I don't have any money." I said, "Don't worry about any money.
Oh, wow.
Just tell me how to get you here."
Yeah.
So please call, get the airline ticket, and then call me back. Tell me. Just get the information and call me back so we can get you a ticket, okay? He did. Got him a ticket, and we got him in. So then the next thing I turn around, there's this man behind me or somewhere. I don't even know where he was, but my friend Gwen said, "Oh, this is Reverend VC. I wanted you to meet Reverend VC." I said, "Okay." So she introduces me to him, and we talk, and I said, "Hi, how are you?" Da 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 da. So then I'm going on with trying to get these get her son here, and her son is going to fly in that night, and I said, "I'll come pick you up. Don't worry, I'll pick you up." And it's snowing in Chicago, and so my husband now says, "Do you want me to ride with you?"
Oh, to pick him up? Oh.
I said,
he's trying to sneak.
I said,
He knew
"No,
what he was doing.
I'm capable of getting him. I'm capable." He goes, "Well, it's snow, and I can go get him."
He's a protector.
But I can go get him. I drive by myself. I drive again by myself.
Yeah.
So that was his way of trying to get in the car with me or something, but it didn't work.
Yeah.
So then I went and picked the son up and dropped the son off at home. And unfortunately, her son had passed away.
Wow.
Before
he got there.
Before he got there. But I didn't want him to hear that from me. I wanted him to hear that from his mom and his dad. So I dropped him off, and then they shared that with him. And then later on, then I think maybe sometime in that week, I don't remember when, but then we had the wake, and then I went to the wake, and then in the church now, somebody's yelling, "Betty! Betty!"
Oh,
I'm
you heard
like,
a voice.
Who is calling me in this church?
You heard a voice.
I look behind, and it's him.
Oh, wow.
It's Kevin. So I said, "Hi." And so it's cold. We're cold. I had my coat on. He didn't have a coat on, but it was cold. And I was getting ready to go to the church, leaving the church to go home after the wake. Is that what that? Yeah, after the wake, I was getting ready to leave. And so he's like, well, do you want me to walk you to your car? Okay.
The facial expression.
I said, okay. So he walks me to the car and he says, okay, it's cold. He doesn't even have a coat on. Just out there chitter chatting, teeth. You know. Well, can I call you sometime?
Oh, he went for it.
Yeah, he went for it. Mm-hmm.
I
was hesitant on giving him. I was hesitant, but I gave him the number.
Yeah.
And he said, I'll call you tonight. So then I later found out he didn't call. I said, that's okay. That's okay. Oh. That's all right. So then I tell him the story later, and he goes, aha. You were expecting me to call. I said, maybe I was, maybe I wasn't.
So he had a strategy.
He did have a strategy, okay. But I got something back on him.
Okay.
So then that was fine. Then I think we had the funeral, and he asked, would you want to ride with me? I said, no, I'm capable of driving. Well, there's no need to take two cars.
Yeah.
And I said, well, okay, I'll ride with you.
Finally.
So I rode with him to the funeral. Then he came back, and then we were done with the funeral and all that. Then he said, well, do you want to ride to another place with me to drop off some food to my friends?
He's strategic.
Okay.
He knew being within proximity of you, you're going to start to like develop some feelings.
You men think you know stuff, right? Okay. But anyway.
Yeah.
I went to wherever, Romeoville or wherever we went, and dropped off the food. And then when we came back, he just came up with something else. We want to go to a movie?
That's it. Gotta stay close to you.
Okay, that's where we're going. Went to a movie. And then I said, well, it's time for me to go home now. We're done with the movie because I'm tired. I'm tired, you know. He goes, okay, but well, when will I be able to see you again? And I said, I don't really know. Why?
Really?
Yeah, why? You know, So then he ended up coming to my house.
Really?
I don't know.
I guess I
invited him. I don't know how I did all this.
Okay.
But he was a smooth talker.
Yeah.
Okay, smooth talker. So he got came to my house, and then he was doing something.
Yeah.
I had to go change oil. I can't even remember. I had to do something. I went and changed oil, I can't even remember those stories. But he got to my house. Don't even know how he got there.
Yeah.
So I must have given him the address somehow or another.
Of course.
But near there, okay, I met him February the 14th of 2023. And we got married June 21st, 2023. February, March, April, May, June. 4 months.
Wow.
And June 21st of 24 will be 20. How many years?
Well, longer than my marriage. You know, I'm a newbie in the marriage game.
Uh-oh.
You know, yeah, you know, the stories it's a little different.
I gotta know. Let me hear about this.
You want to hear about it?
Yeah, I want to hear about this.
It's yeah, man. It's you know, my wife is.
She's beautiful too.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, thank you. So just the story is so incredible. Sometimes when I tell people this story, it's just unbelievable, and it really just kind of ties into. I'm a strong believer. I don't believe in coincidences. I believe everything happens exactly how it's supposed to happen. So synchronicity. This was back in 2018. It was February of 2018. Okay. I was visiting with my mom because my dad traveled overseas to Nigeria. My wife at the time was modeling in Ghana. She lived in Ghana at the time. So I was visiting with my mom. I remember this. I got ready to go to the gym. I come downstairs so vividly, and I walk into her room, and my mom's on her phone looking at photos. One of her high school friends that lives in Nigeria just had a 50th birthday party.
Okay.
in Nigeria. So I joined her to look at photos, mom and son time, and just, conversing a little bit. And, I was looking at the photos with her, and I see a photo. My wife is standing in one of those photos, so her friend is my wife's mom.
Okay.
And I said, who's that girl? This is crazy. Like, I was like, who's that? She's like, that's my friend's daughter.
Oh.
I was like, tell your friend to tell her daughter to send me her number.
Oh.
All in real time, no joke.
Wait a minute. You were that forward?
I don't even know what came over me. That's the thing. Sometimes, and I'll tell you about synchronicity, and I said this all in real time. And then my mom contacted her friend and then got her number. My wife, she's beautiful and then, confident. She probably thought it was just another guy that lives overseas that's trying to court her for whatever reasons. She was a little bit hesitant, but she gave the number up. And at that time, I don't know why, in 2018, I was still using a calling card, but you're still using calling cards.
Okay.
So I got a calling card. I got the number. I was driving to the gym, and I called her with a calling card. And we were talking, and I asked, I don't know why I was asking these questions, but I was like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And then, because for me, it's like women I'm not really like shy when it comes to talking to women.
Okay.
So on the phone, I felt like she was trying to like really be like, oh, I'm pretty. This is just my perspective.
Oh, that's your perspective, okay?
Right? But I was just like,
I want to hear what her perspective of this is.
That's what happened, though. So, and I pulled up to the gym, parked my car, and I was just asking her all these questions. What do you see? She's like, I don't know yet. I just take life a day at a time, which is the same concept that I live by, because we're not guaranteed tomorrow. But that's true. Different conversation. Every moment is all that matters. You're not guaranteed the next moment. Mm-hmm. And so I'll get ready to hang up. I was like, okay, this is not going anywhere. Like, cause my wife is very soft spoken, very reserved.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, give me what's the answer? Like, what do you want to, And then right before I go to hang up, she goes, you can just call me on WhatsApp so you don't have to keep spending money on calling cards. And I didn't know what WhatsApp was at that time.
Okay.
I was a little bit behind when it comes to technology. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what's WhatsApp? She's like, it's an app, download it on your phone, add my number to your contacts, and you just call me and we can talk as long as you're connected to Wi-Fi.
Okay.
That's what I did. I followed her direction, called her, and then we just started really talking. Mm-hmm. The conversation was flowing. And this is no joke. This was February 24th, 2018. Mm-hmm. I remember this date like it was yesterday. My dad was visiting in Nigeria, and her parents live in Nigeria. She was working in Marlin in Ghana. Wow. 4 days later of communicating with her, I told my mom, I said, I'm going to marry her.
Ooh.
So I told her, since my dad is there, close proximity with her parents, I want him to go visit and tell them that I want to marry their daughter. Because, the tradition.
Oh, wow.
Yes, tradition is huge. Mm-hmm. And my dad did the whole thing. And 6 months later, I got a ticket. I flew to Nigeria. But before that, and remember, there's always a moment, right, that pivotal to every story. Before I left, I was just going to go to visit her because, you talk on the phone for 6 months. You don't really know someone.
You want to visit.
There's something about proximity and energy. Yes. And you can tell there's something about human beings. When you come around someone, if you want to be with them or not. Instantly. You choose to either ignore it or you listen to it. Mm-hmm. But before I did that, one night I was coming home from work and I was talking about, man, I want to marry this girl. My sister, my little sister, her name's Francisca. She was like, you need to go to the ring store and buy a ring. I promise you, out of nowhere, she's like, go buy a ring. And I was hesitant. I was like, buy a ring? I've never met this girl. Why would I purchase something, right? And literally, she kept pushing me.
Wow.
To go get a ring. And I was hesitant, but I listened. I was like, okay, I'll just go look at something. Doesn't mean I'm going to buy anything. I went there and I started, you know how when you don't really want to do something, but you're just kind of going along because your siblings pushing you along? That's what I was doing. We got there. I was like, oh, I don't like that one. I don't like that one. I saw one that I like. I was like, oh, it's too expensive. She's like, don't worry. Put it on, get it on, make payment plans.
Put it on a layaway plan.
Yes, do whatever you need to do, but get this ring. And I promise you that was a pivotal moment because I got the ring. 6 months later, flew to Nigeria. And people always tell the story like, oh, love at first sight. None of that. I was at a hotel, staying at a hotel. My wife comes from her house to visit. She came in. I was upstairs when she came in. My dad was in the lobby, and my dad and his friends, some of his business partners. And then she went to the restroom, and I came down. She was in the restroom. So I'm sitting, conversing with my dad and his business partners.
Okay.
She walks out of the restroom, and she looked better than she did in the picture.
So
I didn't even know that was her. I was like,
look at you.
Me as a man, you see a beautiful woman, you admire her beauty,
Yes.
I was like, and then she walks to us. And I met her, and we introduced ourselves, and I was flabbergasted. Her demeanor, her presence, her energy, her frequency was everything that I knew. Like, if I got married, this is what I want.
That's what you wanted. Okay.
Right. So we went upstairs by ourselves to kind of meet each other and talk. And I left, like a few days later, I flew back to the States, and, we're still talking, conversing. And, I left something out. Before I left, she wanted to, do a photo shoot for us to have a picture together.
Very nice.
When we did that, I proposed during the photo shoot. Nobody, and the funny thing is, nobody knew. None of my friends knew this was happening. No clue. It was just me and her, and like, of course, my mom and dad, my sister, like my brothers. They I have 3 brothers. They knew, but that's it. Her family, of course, knew. Proposed to her. She said yes. I came back. I started the K-1 visa process for her to come here, and this is how everything works out. Like I tell you, the way it's supposed to. This was 2018. Met her February 24th. 4 days later, which is the 28th, we decided we're going to get married. Okay. My dad went there, did the introduction. 6 months later, I proposed to her August 18, 2018. So 8/18/18. Right? Yes, 8/18/18 is the date. It's yes, that's the date. Proposed to her.
Oh no, you got to know this.
She's gonna kill me. She's gonna.
Hey, you were
okay, let me say
full circle. Full circle.
It's either 8/8/18.
You better know what it is.
It is 8/8/18. That's what it is.
Say it with confidence.
That's what it is.
All right.
I remember it. It's 8/8/18.
I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you keep going now. Keep going.
So when I got back to the States, immediately I got to work of filing the K-1 visa for her. And lo and behold, December 2019, she was here. But let me tell you a story of how, remember COVID was 2020, which is, a couple months later, right? So once we went through the K-1 process, think about the time frame.
Wow.
August to December, that's like almost like a year and a couple months of running, the K-1 process, getting accepted. That's how you know, because everything will just start to align and work out. And we went through any relationship, disagreements, and then long distance, being away from each other. Me just kind of trying to work, like, because marriage was brand new to me. I knew my parents been married for over 35 years. I knew that as an example, but I didn't know anything about marriage. So it's brand new to me. Everything got clear. She got accepted to come to the States. We got a plane ticket. Let me tell you how energy works. The day she was scheduled to come, this wasn't even her fault, because she was ready to go, but she missed the flight.
Oh no.
So.
Oh no.
Yeah, she missed the flight.
How did she miss the flight?
These are the questions that I was asking at the time, but I didn't handle it well. I was frustrated, and I said, "This is the most important day for you to, come, and then we're gonna start a life in the States." She missed the flight, and me and my mom were conversing about it. I told her, "I'm not getting another ticket. She's gonna have to wait till next year or something."
Oh no, she's not.
That's what I said, and my mom said, "No, you're not waiting. Literally, I said, you're buying another ticket right now."
Thank you, Mom.
She's getting on. Literally the next week, my mom is the one that purchased a ticket for her to come the next week, because I said no. So think about this. I said no, and my mom said yes and purchased a ticket. If I would have waited, think about this, to that next year, she would have been stuck because COVID hit. Right?
Oh, see?
And then our first son, Caleb, was born October of 2020.
Okay.
So if she was stuck in Nigeria during COVID, we wouldn't have my first son.
Exactly.
You see how,
Fate.
Pivotal.
Yes, it is.
My mom just went out of,
but
I'm going to get it.
That's because she knew it was the right thing to do. And she was not going to let any time lapse because she knew this was fate. It was meant to be. And this here little fluky thing is testing faith again.
Absolutely.
Again.
I learned an important lesson in that moment from my mom is don't wait.
Exactly.
For anything. Do it. Find a way to do it and do it now. Stop waiting until everything looks perfect. The timing looks perfect.
Not about that.
You have the money, extra money.
Not about that.
Do it now. Do it. Came. The rest is history. She got pregnant. We had our first son October of 2020. Caleb. I'm so blessed. I have an incredible family.
That's good.
And then we have our second son, Canaan, April of 2022. Right, so we got married. So whenever you come on a K1 visa, you have a 90-day window to be married. So we got married February 14th, 2020, and that was intentional.
Oh,
so I can remember that.
Yes.
I can remember that.
I honest.
And we've been married since then.
Hey, I guess ours was intentional too, because my husband says the 21st is the first day of summer.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Something that's easy to remember for the guy, But and that's the story of I love my immediate family.
Yes.
My parents. I have the most incredible in-laws.
Yes.
My parents are incredible. My siblings are amazing. So every relationship that I have around me currently, because I always speak for the present, is beautiful.
Yeah.
Every relationship that I had in the past taught me something, right? It honestly, what it taught me is to continue to look within.
Yeah.
Right?
Search self.
Yes.
Search self.
The more you love self, the more you attract the people that love you unconditionally.
Exactly.
Because you know why? People always say, "Oh, I love you. But they love you with conditions.
Yeah,
it's always with conditions. It's, "Oh, I love you when you do this.
Right.
I love you when you behave this way.
Right.
I love you when you do this." Yeah. That's not love. That's manipulation.
Right.
Love is unconditional. I don't care what Dr. VC says. I value our relationship, right? So I'm going to love you unconditionally.
It doesn't matter.
So I love my family and the people closest to me unconditionally. And I don't need it to be reciprocated. That's the thing. That was a flaw that I had in my 20s was, "Oh, I love you. You're supposed to love me back." No. I had the expectation of people to be the way that I am to them, to be that way to me. Yeah. But as I continue to mature, experience life, I've realized it's either I choose to love them or I don't. I don't need anything back from you. If you choose
and that's the key. That's the key. A lot of people feel like there's got to be something. I got to do this to get this. Or I got to do that to do. You don't have to do any of that stuff. Absolutely. It's about you. It's about each person and who they are.
Yes.
And who are they from within? Who are these people really? This is your body on the outside.
Absolutely.
But then who are you up here?
Yes.
Who are you?
Because that's where, what's crazy? I heard this on someone talking about this, but the only thing that we really have control over is our mind.
Exactly.
You can't even control your health.
No.
Because anybody can have a heart attack.
Exactly.
I've heard marathon runners just falling and
There was
die.
a police officer there was a police officer or somebody on the news that was in the 30s or 40s or something. He had a heart attack.
Yes. And when I learned that, I learned everything is here.
It is.
So it's literally just if you can do your best to find a way to. And then there's a lot of different, people throw out different ideas in the world. And I don't feel like there's a one size fits all for anyone. No. But just for me personally, it's just remembering their thoughts. I don't trust my thoughts. No.
You don't trust your thoughts?
No, I trust my gut.
Let me,
Yes.
Okay.
Because thoughts are fleeting. Anything can influence thought.
True.
It's and we tend to, for some reason, we use our minds to create outcomes that are not positive or beneficial to us. We default. Well, I can speak for me, not we. I default to the worst case scenario. But why would I spend so much time? Oh, what if it turns out that it doesn't work out? It doesn't work out. Why can't I put that same energy and think, what if it does work out?
True. But what is reality? Reality is that most people are going to be thinking, oh, what if I do? But if you just move forward and that it is what it is.
Yeah.
If it's good, hey.
No expectation.
If it's bad, let me just do something. I got to do this or do that. But here's the point. You did it. Now
faith.
you know.
That's incredible faith. That's faith. Like you just take a step.
Yeah.
And there's no focus on any specific outcome because sometimes the outcome can turn out better than you ever even expected or imagined.
But if you never did it, you would never know.
And then something happens to you, but like, why didn't I try that?
Exactly.
You'll die, with regret.
So would you want to be, that's it. Do you want to have a lot of regret on your plate?
Yeah.
Rather than, I would rather have, I did it and this versus, I would never know because I never did it.
I never tried it. Right? Man, and I love it because.
And it's growth. Trying different things is growing. You are growing, you're maturing, and you're helping. You can help somebody else again. Like we've talked about this before.
We've
talked about it before. I will tell you anything that has happened to me and this, and you can think, oh, wow, I might want to do this.
Yes.
Or maybe it'll be different if I do that. But that's your choice.
Yes.
But at least you have some feedback. At least you've been given some circumstances that happened to one person.
And you've been able to see that. You're exposed to that. I agree. But like it all comes full circle because.
What'd you say it comes?
Full circle.
Here we go again. Every time we keep talking about this full circle.
It's amazing.
You know that name was meant to be.
It was. And I just before we wrap up, I got to tell the story of how that name came up. Because it was amazing. Because I remember I was just sitting down and then you were literally just talking to me over the... And it was like, okay, if we started a podcast, what would we call it, right? And then we just started throwing names out there.
Yeah, I don't even remember all the names that came out.
So many came out. And then you said full circle. And because I'm like looking actively, like, can we purchase this domain? And he's like, full circle. I was like, oh, it's taken. He's like, okay, what can we do? Full circle podcast. It's like, okay, that's not there. And then immediately you go full circle chat. And I looked it up and it was available. I remember
we're like, yes,
we got it. And this all happened within the span of like
it did
3 minutes.
It was very quick.
Yes, and that's alignment and synchronicity, man. And I hope someone that's listening can, from our stories and our perspective, can find something that could maybe resonate with them as we continue to share our story in future episodes. But I don't know if you have any last minute, things that you want to add to the conversations. But if not, it's been another great episode with the one and only Dr. VC.
It sure has. With my only co-host over here now.
And we'll see you guys next time. Thank you, Dr. VC, again for your time.